Hello Minecrafters and welcome back to another redstone video. This is episode 8 of learning redstone computer with Minecraft. In today's episode, we were gonna build a new computer component which is the core stack. Now if you want to know more about core stack, you should really check out Mattbatwings episode 8 of his redstone computer series because he went much more in depth into explaining what is a core stack and what does it do. But to give you the TLDR version of it, a core stack is a computer component which allows us to create functions in our assembly program. Now, functions are really important in any programming languages because functions allow us to store pieces of code and reuse them in our program. This greatly increases the speed of our program and also reduce the memory needed in order to store our program. So in today's episode, we were gonna try to build a core stack and also connect it to our computer right here. So just sit back, relax, and let's jump right into today's episode, shall we? Oh, that's a bit too close. Okay, let's jump right into today's episode. First, we need to build our core stack computer component. Now, there are several ways you can do this. You can build one by yourself, or you can just grab Mattbatwings, like core stack right here. So this is the core stack component that Matt showed in his video. As you can see, it's relatively complicated, but it's actually not. It's essentially just a bunch of shift registers stacked on top of each other. So the orange part is the shift register, and these shift registers are bi-directional, so they can move to the right, move the data to the right or to the left. And there are in total 10 of them because these bits right here are actually address bits. So the address bits are similar to the bits that we use to access our instruction memory. Next, we have our clock signal over here, and it is the same thing as the clock signal that we use for our computer. And finally, we have this blue line, which will allow us to select the call operation or the return operation. And if you want to know more about these like components and these operation, you should check out Mattbatwings video about it. First, we need to connect the input to our computer, and what we need to do is we need to connect the core stack input with the output of the program counter, which is the address plus 1. And the current address plus 1 output is actually over here. So what we need to do is we need to grab this part right here and connect to the input of the core stack. Okay, so here's the core stack over here, and I have connected the address plus 1 output into our core stack, and it's essentially the output of this adder right here. And this is the current address, and this is the current address, but plus 1 because we add the carry in bit into the current address. So here's the output. We connected to the core stack over here. Now for the output of the core stack, we need to connect it to a three-way mux, which will choose the current address plus 1, or the jump address over here, or the return address from our core stack. So what we need to do is we need to modify this two-way mux here into a three-way mux, which should be not too complicated. So this is the output of the core stack. We will have to connect it to a three-way mux, and this is a very weird three-way mux, but essentially we cancel this line if this return is activated. So if it is like this, we were gonna cancel the output coming from the jump, the address coming from the jump operation. And over here, we are gonna allow the address coming from the call stack. And this output, we're gonna go to this, which we're gonna update our program counter. And with just one singular output, like input over here, we will be able to select either the normal input or the jump or the call stack over here. Next, we need to connect the input clock of the call stack with our central clock, which is like this line over here. So what I'm gonna do is very simple, just take this, or maybe I'm gonna take it from, yeah, let's just take it from here, because it's, well, it doesn't have any delay. We are gonna test this later to see if it needs delay or not, but I assume it doesn't. So yeah, let's just connect the clock over here to our call stack clock input. Okay, so I just did just that. So here's the clock, and we basically just snake the clock signal down to here. So now the clock input of the call stack has been connected to our central clock. Now we have to deal with this blue part right here. Next, we need to create two new operations, the call operation and the return operation. Now, what these operations we're gonna do are very similar. When the call operation or the return operation is selected, we want to be able to enable the clock signal to get into here. So this is not really that good. So we need to add like another comparator, or just basically disable this comparator. So on default, it needs to be like this. But when the call operation or the return operation is selected, we need it to be like this, so it can accept the clock signal. When the call operation is selected, we need to enable the signal coming from the program counter to the call stack. So what we need to do is we need to add like a mux here, so we will be able to cancel which signal we want to do. So we want to allow, so we need a yeah, basically we need a another mux here. So let me build that real quickly. Okay, so here's the mux. Basically by default it will be like this, so we don't allow the output of the program counter to go into the call stack. But when the call operation is selected, we want to disable this. So now, as you can see, we are allowing the output of the program counter to go into the call stack. We will need to do the same thing for return. So by default, we want the output over here to be locked. So yeah, we have to build the same thing again over here. So by default, we will not gonna get any output, but when the return operation is selected, we want to basically disable this. So now the output of the call stack we're gonna go into our program counter, and we will be able to load the address coming from the call stack. Okay, so I have connected the call operation and the return operation. So over here we have the signal which will activate the clock signal. So basically when the return operation or the call operation is enabled, the clock here will be unlocked So we were gonna accept the input of the clock signal. Then for the call operation, we also have another line here, and this line will allow us to write the address over here into our call stack. For the return operation, we have a different line which will allow us to read the address coming from the call stack, and we're gonna input that address into our program counter. Now I will gonna load in a program to see if everything actually works. Okay, after a little bit of rewatching Mattbatwings and a little bit of debugging, basically I did something wrong with the call operation. So the call operation, you need to activate the jump operation as well. So I have to select the jump operation right here. So yeah, remember to do that as well. And also, yeah, that's kind of it. Now I have a program loaded into our instruction memory. I will gonna explain like the program. So the first address, address 0, we have call to address 2. So this is the call operation, and address 2 is encoded here. Then at address 1, we have the halt operation. And then at address 2, we have another call operation. And this time it calls to address number 4. At address number 3, we have a return operation. So 1101. So 13. So this is the return operation. At address number 4, we have an ADI operation, or add immediate, and we were just gonna add to all one a number 1. At address number 5 is another like return operation, and that's basically it of the program. Now in theory, the program will gonna run in this sequence. So this is the address sequence. We were gonna see this in the program counter. It will go from 0, and then address 0 to address 2, and then to address 4, and then to address 5, then to address 3, then to address 1. And because address 1 has the halt operation, the program gonna stop and reset back to address 0. So if I go down to the program counter over here, I will gonna tick rate this to like 100, so it is fast. Let's tick freeze and press the clock signal. Now I will gonna go down here, gonna tick unfreeze, and we were gonna observe the program counter, basically these bits over here, to see that the bits, the output here, we're gonna follow this sequence. So let's unfreeze, and now we're gonna see first we have a 2, 0 to 2, and then 4, and then 5, and then 3, and then 1, and then 0. Okay, the program has ended, and if we check at register R1, we should see, as you can see, we have a 1 at register R1 because we add 1 to register R1. So we add 1 plus 0 equals 1. So yeah, our both the like the return operation and the call operation are fully working in our computer. And yeah, that's basically it for today's episode. It's a bit short, but I don't want to drag it out too much, mainly because I don't really have a lot of time. So I really hope that you have enjoyed today's episode, and I hope that you have learned something from today's episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next redstone video. Have a nice day, everyone.